Guys, get your feet off the seats. More people need chairs.
Yeah, I see Tom.
Wherever you want, down front.
Thanks for dressing for the occasion every so often. Emerson's got a little class.
Sense the excitement here. How are we feeling? Are we excited for Poetry Out Loud 2023? First time we've had this event in this space for 3 years. It's been 3 years since the last time we had this event, and we're very excited. In fact, I remember this was March 7th or something of 2020. Something happened a little shortly after that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a state Poetry Aloud contest, and that was actually one of the last things that I did. Tom Hanks got COVID, and then basically our entire world flipped upside down after that. Funny story too, the person competing in that state contest was a person named Anna Olson, a graduate of Westland High School, and we have Katie Olson. Where's Katie? Anna's sister is here, and Katie, you were a 7th grader. And I think I met you that day. Yes. Wow. Good memory here. So we're very excited to have this event. How many of you memorized a poem? Either this year or in a past year for Poetry Out Loud. How many of you memorized a poem? Raise your hand high. Be proud about this. All right. So you all know what goes into that. You all know what goes into that. So today, it's really important that you are all very respectful and you're not speaking or on your phone while people are up here reading poems. Like as of right now, I can hear some talking. This is a two-way street. You can hear me, I can also hear you. And a lot of you know that this is a really difficult task. And we want to make sure that we're giving these people up here, these fine 15, soon to be 16 competitors here, a fair shot. So please, be respectful. We will have some time to break. So how this program is going to work, we're going to do an attendance question. You're actually going to have the opportunity to write your own poems and perhaps even get published in the Westland High School Literary Magazine, which you're going to find out very shortly more about. You're going to have an intermission, so we are going to do a short intermission. There will be times for people to break, but while people are reciting their poems, that's the time to be quiet, respectful. We want this to be a fun, electric day, which I think it will be. But let's make sure that we're picking the right times. Also, we're super lucky to have a space like this. So make sure you're being respectful of the space. Keep your feet off the backs of the chairs. Don't be climbing over the wooden handrails and things like that. This is great that we get to be here today. So, what are the stakes here? What are we looking at? We've got, let's give these 15 people up here a big round of applause. The stakes are huge. Let me explain to you. So, we're actually going to be sending forward not one, but 2 students forward to the next round. And what that looks like is they're going to be recording a video of one of their 2 poems that they're going to be reciting today. And the group that's going to be scoring these poems are going to kind of push forward several members, they haven't said how many, up to a state contest, which takes place in Salem on March 22nd, right before spring break. And they can then, if they go further, have an all-expense-paid trip for 2 people, them and a chaperone, to Washington, D.C. So that's the big stakes we've got going here. I would like to kind of start. We actually have somebody up here that's going to be doing some double duty here. I'd like to kind of do a little bit of a background about this literary magazine that I mentioned called Kaleidoscope. And so Peyton Rector is going to give us a little bit of an overview of this magazine. Why don't you give Peyton a big round of applause?
Hi everyone, how are we doing? That's not enthusiastic at all. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the Kaleidoscope, which is Westland High School's literary magazine. The literary magazine takes submissions from students. It's for students by students, and it's creative writing pieces, art pieces, photography, and everything in between. There are no limits when it comes to demographics or anything like grade level. Anyone can submit, and it's a great way for people to get their work published and practice having people reading their stuff. And it's a great way to get to know other people if you're part of the Kaleidoscope or any of Mr. Craig's amazing classes. And on the next slide, there's going to be a QR code where, never mind. This is the second period attendance prompt. You can scan that, and what it's going to be is it's going to be a haiku. You're going to write a haiku for the attendance about the last thing that you ate. If you'd like, you can choose to have this published in the printed version of the Kaleidoscope or the online version of the Kaleidoscope.
Give it up for Peyton. Reciting not one, but 2 poems, and also helping with Kaleidoscope today. So this is our attendance prompt. A lot of you have been asking, how am I getting my attendance taken? You're waving at me like I'm going to do something about that. This is your attendance. So you're going to actually include a few pieces of information about yourself, your first and last name, your grade level, and this is really important too. Did you come with a class, meaning that you had your attendance taken by your teacher, or did you come directly to the auditorium for Poetry Out Loud? If you're not sure, just say that you came directly. That would be fine. And then, you're going to include, as part of this prompt, which I may actually read some of these later down the road, your haiku. This is not the best thing you ate. It's not your favorite food. It's the last thing you ate. Sometimes in the morning, it's about practicality. Maybe not the most glamorous foods this morning. A haiku, by the way, how many syllables are in the first line? 5 syllables. Second line, 7 syllables. Third line, once again, 5 syllables. So you might actually get this published if you choose to do so. I might even read a few of these later. And I'm not going to be scanning them, so make sure that you've got your 575. I don't want to look like I don't know what a haiku is up here. Make me look bad. So we'll give people a few moments to work on this attendance question. One other thing that I want to mention, there's going to be a question later about a phrase or a line that you can remember from one of these poems. So as you're listening, try to listen very carefully and see if there's a memorable, like I said, phrase or line from the poem. There's a quiz. So this is our only time that we're going to be using our phones today. Once you're done with this, phones should be put away. How many of you are staying for period 3 as well? How many of you are staying for period 3? Okay. Period 3 is going to be even more exciting. We're going to find our winner in period 3. So when I see people's phones being put away or in their pockets,
It's crazy. Full house here. It's nice. Oh, because so he moved down here.
raise your hand if you need another moment. Got a few couple people. There will be another poem that we'll be writing, 3rd period.
Yes, exactly.
Last thing you ate. I just put the one It's too early to write haiku.
16.
17 syllables.
Yeah, you're only 16 syllables short.
I could have just wrote no 5 times and 7 times.
All right. I sense that we can move forward here. No? No? All right. Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and also it's contrast. It's,
It just needs to be black.
it needs to be
white.
black and white and as big as
We
possible.
don't need the big scandy above it. We know what's doing. There's like right my.
So, once I see that people's phones are being put away, that's when I know we're ready to move forward. Gracie, you want to move this slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you need any help with attendance, you can let me know during intermission time. I am happy to answer any questions, but I think we should probably introduce our judges here. We've got 3 judges, we've got an accuracy score, and we have what do we have? A tallier? Is that? Petition.
Yeah,
Yes.
tabulator.
Tabulator.
Okay,
English teachers struggling.
let's start with a person who means a lot to me. A person who was once an English teacher, has now moved up in the world, one would say, has become now a vice principal. In fact, this person is partly why I'm here today, because they took child leave and opened up a position for myself 10 years ago. Our first judge is Miss Carmacher. Next judge, huge friend of the program, Poetry Out Loud, been judging for years, before some of you were even born. If you want any understanding or any information about a poetry event that's happening anywhere in the entire Portland metro area, you should probably contact this person. Our second judge, Mr. Lothimer. Give a round of applause for Mr. Lothimer. Third judge, another friend of the program, former co-host, Poetry Out Loud. Also, pretty good DJ as well. You can find him on SoundCloud. DJ Kraken with 2 N's. There's a lot of them. There's actually like 7 DJ Krakens with 2 N's. Scroll down to like 6 and you'll find this person. Our third judge is Mr. Craig. Another fabulous 10th grade English teacher. Some of this person's students might be in the house right now. This person is going to be this is important for you all, this is our accuracy judge. So this is the person that if you need a pump, you will look to this person. A person who is a beacon of integrity, would never up anybody's accuracy score if given the opportunity, if maybe they were a student of theirs. Certainly not. This is Ms. Kramer. Please give Ms. Kramer. And our last, not a judge, but a person who, an English teacher doing math, maybe not the best decision of my life. But this person, I think, is here and ready to be adding numbers up. I even gave the wrong instructions earlier, so I hope that we got it. Okay, so a couple of English teachers doing math, not going super well. So give it up for Miss Watson. Right. Well, how you feeling? Ready? Let's get this started. Let's get one more round of applause here for Poetry Out Loud 2023. First, please give a nice, warm welcome to Eli Schussler.
To myself by Franz Wright. You are riding the bus again, burrowing into the blackness of Interstate 80, the sole passenger with an overhead light on, and I am with you. I am the interminable fields you can't see, the little lights off in the distance in one of those rooms. We are living, and I am the rain. And the others all around you, and the loneliness you love, and the universe that loves you specifically. Maybe. And the catastrophic dawn, the nicotine crawling on your skin, and when you begin to cough, I won't cover my face. And if you vomit, this time I will hold you. Everything is going to be fine, I will whisper. It won't always be like this. I'm going to buy you a sandwich.
Excellent first start there. Great job, Eli. So remember, there's going to be a quiz later. What are some memorable lines that you can pull from your brains later on? What's a memorable line? Share it with somebody next to you. What's one memorable line you remember? Sandwich. Something about holding someone's hair while they're vomiting. I am the rain. We also have some information from our contestants here. So Eli chose both of the poems because they each had something I found particularly powerful, each in their own way. Favorite book and character, A Clockwork Orange. It reignited my love for reading. I loved reading when I was in middle school and lost touch freshman year. reading this book, I was sucked in, and I have had a book in my hand ever since. Mr. Graney, you hear that? Yeah. Okay, judges, are you looking good? Got everything dialed? Perfect. All right. Our next contestant is Elise Michael.
The Rain by Robert Greeley. All night, the sound had come back again and again. False. This quiet, persistent rain. What am I to myself that must be remembered, insisted upon so often? Is it that never the ease, even the hardness of rain falling will have for me? Something other than this, something not so insistent. Am I to be locked in this final uneasiness? Love. If you love me, lie next to me. Be, for me, like rain. The getting out of the tiredness, the fatuousness, the semi-lust of intentional indifference. Be wet with a decent happiness.
So one of the questions I also asked these students up here, the story of the moment you realized that your class was going to do poetry out loud. I felt like, wow, this is really happening. A very practical response, I would say. I love poetry, so I was excited when we were about to do poetry out loud. I just remember my sister went to the school competition as well. I wasn't very worried about it, and I like poetry. How many people had a sibling at one point? I think we have two. A sibling that did poetry out loud. Sorry, not a sibling that you had at one point. Sorry, I should have clarified that. When Miss Colta told my class about poetry out loud, I was very excited. I love poetry a ton, and I wrote quite a few on my own time. Sadly, we were not presenting our own. In retrospect, it would be super hard to get a class of 10th graders to write their own poetry and then present it. I was excited about this project, not so much the presenting, but still working with poetry in general. Very good. All right, looks like our judges are prepared. Up next, please give a warm welcome for Pedro Garcia.
I'm offering this poem to you by Jimmy Santiago Baca. I'm offering this poem to you since I have nothing else to give. Whoops, sorry. Keep it like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite through. I love you. I have nothing else to give you, so it is like a So it is like a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head to tie up around your hair and to wrap around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this as you would if you were lost, needing direction. In the wilderness, life becomes one mature. And in the corner of your drawer, tucked away like a cabin or Hogan, come knocking, and I will answer, and give you directions. And let you warm yourself by this fire, rested by this fire, and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give, all anyone needs to live, and to go on living inside, when the world outside no longer cares if you live or die. Remember, I love you.
Here's a response that'll warm every English teacher's heart that's in the building right now. I was really disappointed when I realized my class was doing a poetry unit at all. I thought it was boring, and it all sounded the same, until I looked into all the topics poetry can include and realized it didn't just feature life and death, love and tragedy. Poetry can be about whatever you want it to be. Poetry can be about, whatever topics speak to you, and that makes me very excited about reading more poetry in the future. Wow, listen to that. Give it up. Judges appear to be ready. Up next, Morgan Farnand.
Song in a Minor Key by Dorothy Parker. There's a place I know where the birds swing low and wayward vines go roaming, where the lilacs nod and a marble god is pale and scented gloaming. And at sunset there comes the lady fair, whose eyes are deep with yearning. By an old, old gate does that lady wait, her own true love's returning. But the days go by, and the lilacs die, and trembling birds seek cover. Yet the lady stands with her long white hands held out to greet her lover. And it's there she'll stay, till shadowy day, a monument they grave her. She will always wait by the same old gate, the gate her true love gave her.
So, like I said, we'll get to some of the haikus as well here. These look pretty good. I feel like there was probably some instruction about haikus at some point in your careers here. The Pop-Tart was bad. I don't know how to rhyme. Why am I here? Why? Yeah, fried egg on top. Spread the avocado next. Fuel to start the day. You seem like somebody's using like ChatGPT here to create these. I don't know. Some people are laughing a little too hard at that joke. Let's see. Someone here. Tasty lasagna. It burns the roof of my mouth, but it is worth it. Somebody had some tasty lasagna in the morning. Great. All right, so let's give a warm round of applause for Maggie McKenzie. Rowan Seacrest. Yes, thank you.
This summer, everyone left for the moon, even those yet to be born. And the dead who can't vacation here, but met us all there by the veil between worlds. The #1 song in America was In the Year 2525. Because who has ever lived in the present when there's so much of the future to continue without us? How the best lover won't need to forgive you. And surely take everything off your hands without having to ask. Without knowing your name, no matter the number of times you married or didn't, your favorite midnight movie, the cigarettes you couldn't give up, wanting to kiss other people you shouldn't, and now to forever be kissed by the earth, in the earth, with the earth. When we all briefly left it, to look back on each other from above, shocked by how bright even our pain is running wildly beside us like an underground river. And whatever language is good for, a sign, a message up there that reads, here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind, then returned to continue the war.
Thank you, Rowan. Good recovery, by the way. That's kind of a hard way to start your poem there, to have somebody say the wrong person. I had some breakfast that bar was bussin' on God, I had a smoothie. A nice round breakfast there. Some people maybe didn't get my chicken chipotle melt steaming. That's like 12 syllables. Slightly too hot to gulp down immediately. Again, probably like maybe 12 syllables there. Cooled, it was just perfect. That could be 7. Good job. You got the last line. Garrett loves apples. Garrett can't wait to eat food. Garrett loves apples. Does that count as a refrain? Yes? Repetition? Now, we're ready, finally, for Maggie McKenzie.
Cartoon Physics Part 1 by Nick Flynn. Children under, say, 10 shouldn't know that the universe is ever expanding, inexorably pushing into the vacuum, galaxies swallowed by galaxies, whole solar systems collapsing. All of it acted out in silence. At 10, we're still learning the rules of cartoon animation, that if a man draws a door on a rock, only he can pass through it. Anyone else who tries will crash into the rock. 10-year-olds should stick with burning houses, car wrecks, ships going down, earthbound, tangible disasters, arenas where they can be heroes. You can run back into a burning house. Sinking ships have lifeboats. The trucks will come with their ladders. If you jump, you will be saved. A girl places her hand on the roof of a school bus and drives across a city of sand. She knows the exact spot the bus will skid, at which point the bridge will give, who will swim into safety, and who will be pulled under by sharks. She will learn that if a man runs off a cliff, he will not fall until he notices his mistake.
How many ninth graders are in the house right now? Raise your hand if you're a ninth grader. All right, very nice. Quite a few. So, ninth graders, this is something that you have to look forward to next year. You'll all be doing Poetry Live. How many 10th graders are here in the house? A lot of 10th graders, great. So one of the things we always, well, fine. How many 11th graders are in the house? We'll get everybody. There we go. Are there any 12th graders? Any 12th graders? A couple 12th graders? Very nice. Supporters of the program. So one of the things we always talk about is Poetry Out Loud is not just a 10th grade activity in a national perspective. And we do tend to have this idea of Poetry Out Loud being something that could grow into not just a 10th grade program, so that other people could be involved as well. So we also want to kind of, I guess, preview the idea that perhaps Poetry Out Loud could grow. And if you're really interested in doing this, if you're currently a 10th grader, if you'd like to do this again next year, or if you're an 11th grader and would like to take part in this during 12th grade, you could do that as well. So that's something to think about. Like we talked about, this program hasn't been around for a little while in this capacity. In fact, the last time we did this, we only had 12 students, and this time we have 16. So theoretically, it's growing. So we're very excited about that. Keep that in mind for next year. And it looks like our judges are prepared here. Up next, give a warm welcome to Claire Johnson.
Writing poems, I talk about the indifference of nature. It was soon after my mother died, a brilliant June day, everything blooming. I sat on a gray stone bench in a lovingly planted garden, but the daylilies were as deaf as the ears of drunken sleepers, and the roses curved inward. Nothing was black nor broken, not a leaf fell, and the sun blared endless commercials for the summer holidays. I sat on a gray stone bench,
ringed with the androgynous faces of pink and white and Peytons, and placed my grief in the mouth of language, the only thing that would grieve with me.
These are from our contestants up here. It wasn't until my teacher explained that poetry could be personal that I started to get excited for Poetry Out Loud. I was eager to find a poem that put the words to the thoughts and feelings in my heart. When I recited the poems, I tried my best to infuse the words with as much emotional depth as I could, because they are more than just the thoughts of a poet from another time. They become a reflection of myself. Wow. One of the best paragraphs Google Forms has ever seen, I think. There we go. Up next is Peyton Rector.
Here, by Joshua Maiden. Nothing has changed. They have a hill with they have a welcome sign, a hill with cows and a White House on top, a mall and a grocery store where people shop, a diner where some people go to dine. It is the same no matter where you go. In downtown, you will find no big surprises. Each fall, the dew point falls until it rises. White snow, green buds, green lawn, red leaves, white snow. This is all right. This is their hope. And yet, though what you see is never what you get, it does feel somehow changed from what it was. Is it the people, houses, fields, the weather? Is it the streets? Is it these things together? Nothing here ever changes till it does.
Excellent work, Peyton. So I thought a lot of these students might have some of their classmates, maybe even their teachers here in the audience, and they could maybe share, I don't know, a fun memory from their class that they had. One time we had a substitute, and he asked who annoyed my teacher the most, and handed that student a sticky note to write their name on it. I wrote my name on the sticky note, and he placed the sticky note somewhere in the room for my teacher to find on a later date. I told my teacher the next day what happened, but not where the note was, and she was paranoid for the rest of the day. Has that sticky note been found, do we think? Maybe? Tabulating here. You can see the math above Miss Watson's head right now, the problems. Looks like we're ready to go. Up next, Hanson Barrett.
This is Weighing In by Rina P. Espaillat. What the scale tells you is how much the earth has missed you, body. How it wants you back again if you leave to go forth into the light. Do you remember how Earth hardly noticed you then? Others would rock you in their arms, warm in the flow, that fed you and coaxed you upright. Then Earth began to claim you with spots and fevers, began to lick at you with a bruised knee, a bloody shin, and finally to stoke you, body, drumming intimate coded messages through music you danced to unawares. Then you're dreaming, your poems, your weakened blood. Body, how useful you became, how lucky, heavy with breakage and use, sad and rich. Sometimes imagining that greedy zero you must have been, that promising empty sack of possibilities, never to come tomorrow. But look at you now, body, soft old shoe that love wears when stirring. Look down. Look how earth wants what you weigh, needs what you know.
Very nice, Nancy. So, remember, there's a quiz. Profound, important lines. You can paraphrase, so we don't have to remember them perfectly, but we're going to take, not right this moment, but after our next competitor performs, we're going to take a very short intermission, a 5-minute intermission, so let's hang tight here. If you haven't memorized a line or thought of something, really listen carefully to this next one. See if there's something that you can pull from that. So one of the things I try to tell students is we're often looking at their body language, their performance, their voice, or seeing these kinds of things. But what I want you to think about is the language, the poem. What are you noticing about it? Because this is kind of bringing them, I guess, in a different perspective than just reading them. So be thinking about language, be listening. You ready? All right. Up next is Ashley Dusick.
The Albatross by Kate Bass. When I know you're coming home, I put on this necklace. Glass beads on a silken thread, a blue that used to match my eyes. I like to think I'm remembering you. I like to think you don't forget. The necklace lies heavy on my skin. It clatters when I reach down to lift my screaming child. I swing her, roll her in my arms until she forgets. The beads glitter in the flicker of a TV set as I sit her on my lap and wish away the afternoon. I wait until I hear a gate latch lift, the turn of key and lock. I sit amongst toys and unwashed clothes. I sit and she fingers the beads until you speak in a voice that no longer seems familiar. Only strange. I turn as our child tugs at the string. I hear a snap and a sound like falling rain.
So I'd like if I could get maybe a couple of teachers to kind of head out towards the lobby, teachers that don't have roles. Maybe Mr. Pace. And I want you to look menacing as you go, because you're going to be kind of a bodyguard there. Or not a bodyguard, a bouncer. That makes more sense. So we're going to take, this is not a everybody gets up and leaves intermission. This is kind of more of a stretch break. If you need to use the restroom, we're going to come back at 9:27. If you need to use the restroom, you can, but this is a mostly stay in your seat, take a stretch kind of break. 5 minutes, 9:27. There will be a prompt, another attendance check-in after this.
Larkin, do you see that button that says projector blank?
Oh, I'm trying to get another.
Hit that. Okay, now go back.
I took pictures of me here so I can just show my teacher that. It just said closed out.
Oh, it's closed out. Oh, they would probably do that at a certain point. You'll just have to check. You'll do your scan after the little intermission thing, and you'll probably be fine. Yeah, it's gonna be a limited time.
No, I mean like it closed out when it was done. And and then it wasn't up there. So,
Right. If you try it now, it's saying it's done.
oh no, it isn't. I'm gonna. Like it wasn't up on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go ahead
Yeah.
and get it from here.
I did, but like it messed.
How can we help?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to the current. There you go. And then do the underline. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, Steve would love you for that.
I like that class. I thought it was so fun.
Having someone who actually knows what a battery is, or you know.
Yeah, and actually like done stuff on
Yeah.
little set.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just like helping the kid. What's an SD card? Oh, I'm supposed to hold on to that? I'm supposed to do something with my file?
There's like a funny movement battery.
Yeah. So the camera wasn't working, so we just like got on our phones and like sat on the floor. And another battery.
It needs to happen. Everyone here now. All better stuff. What? We sent the link for that attendance thing. Yeah, I know, because Abby and work. What'd you write for your haiku? I took one from Google. I didn't know what to. That's worse than what I did. I just wrote the word no. And I didn't have the foresight to do like no 5 times, but no 7 times, but 5 times, so it's still good syllables.
now would be a good time to start heading back to your seats. In just a moment, we're gonna have a post-intermission attendance check-in. This is a quick question. You're not gonna write a poem, but remember how I've been saying that you should try to memorize or keep in your mind an important phrase or a line from one of the poems that you've seen. So Gracie, if you could move my slide one ahead here, thank you. So this is our post-intermission attendance. Same idea here, we've got the QR code. What is one phrase or line from any of the poems that you have heard so far that you thought was impactful, meaningful, memorable? You can paraphrase as well, so don't feel like you have to get it exactly right. That might be kind of a challenge. And then, why was this phrase or line impactful to you? So let's just take a moment here
It's so hard.
to thoughtfully answer this question. Zoom in on your phone. You're supposed to know this. Sandwich, a couple of sandwich. I'm going to buy you a sandwich. I'll buy you a sandwich. Obviously resonating with people. Garrett loves apples. That came up.
How do you go about your day? Oh no, it's all good. Dude, I love this party today. I've gotten to yell at so many people today.
My kids are waiting. No, but I was with early, so
You must be very happy.
I love it. I got to yell at people today. Throw away their spring.
well, she thinks she's
Oh, okay.
anyway. Thank you. I'll check in with Lester.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, they were here. There were two custodians here and a game crash on the stage yesterday. I didn't understand. I have never seen that before.
Well, they've been shortening like
And they don't know any better. Gotcha.
So like the first time when I see people's phones are down and away, we will begin once again. The goal here, of course, is that we're going to try to have each one of these students recite their first poem so you get to see everybody. I think because of the hush of the crowd, we're ready to begin. Can we get one slide forward there, get our background? Okay, so we're going to continue here. And up next is Emma Huberty.
Another one of the world's liars by Moja Koff. I am just another one of the world's liars. Believe me. I have few charms,
worn out peddler's trinkets with grand names like beauty, friendship, truth, passion, and this one's a real thing. Sometimes I even buy it myself. Love. Check my record. Odds are not in your favor that I won't sell out my goods, bolt by night, deny you 3 times before the cock has crowed. Consider this fair warning. Never fall for my spiel. If you do, and end up with a huge bill for the damage done, never forgive me.
You did a pretty good job on our quiz. One of the lines somebody said, nicotine crawling down my skin. It wasn't meaningful because I don't condone vaping, but it was said with lots of emotions. Very nice. I need to weed out the word sandwich. It comes up way too often here, but you know, we like what we like. The indifference of nature. It's cool how it highlights stability and power of nature. All right, so let's make sure we're keeping the talking down. As I said, two-way street here. You hear us, we can also hear you. So you want to make sure that you're being respectful and making sure that all of the students up here have the best opportunity to move forward here. And up next is going to be Wyatt Foster. Wyatt.
Just a little bit. Turning the Tables by Joel D.S. Porter. First, hold the needle like a lover's hand. Lower it slowly. Let it tongue the record's ear. Then cultivate sweet beats, blooming in the valley of the groove. Laugh at folks that make requests. What chef will let the diners determine which entrees make the menu? Young boys think it's about flashy flicks of the wrist, but it's about filling the floor with the manic language of dance, by knowing the beat of every record like a mama knows her child's cries. Nobody cares how fast you scratch because it ain't about soothing any itch. It's about how many hairstyles are still standing at the end of the day.
Some more class memories from people. One fun memory that I have from English class is honestly poetry out loud recitation. We brought in snacks and beverages and just had fun hanging out and listening to others. It was relaxing and enjoyable. Some people maybe didn't get snacks and beverages during their class and they might be upset now. Earmuffs. Earmuffs. Our esteemed judges are prepared here. Give it up for Ms. Colta, also helping out here as well. Okay, up next, Lane Donaldson Swigart.
I've never walked a mic stand, so I don't know how this works. I'm gonna be honest with you. To myself, by friends, right. You're riding the bus again, blurring into the blackness of Interstate 80, the sole passenger with the overhead light on. I am with you. I am the interminable fields you cannot see. The little light off in the distance in one of those rooms we are living. And I in the rain, and others all around you, and the loneliness you love, and the universe that loves you specifically. Maybe, and the catastrophic dawn, the nicotine crawling on your skin. And when you begin to cough, I won't cover my face. And if you vomit this time, I will hold you. Everything is going to be fine, I will whisper. It won't always be like this. I'll buy you a sandwich. And before I leave, can we please give a round of applause to the interpreters? Excellent, Linn. Thank you very much. Relatable, more embarrassing story. But once during a working on a project, I don't remember which one, it was very quiet in the class, and I was planning on putting some music on to help me focus. But when I opened the Spotify app, and Spotify Wrapped popped up first thing, and I forgot my volume was all the way up, so I just started blasting my music at full volume. I panicked and couldn't find a way to turn it off. Once I did, it was dead quiet, and I just said, "My bad," and silently died of embarrassment. Well, maybe they didn't know it was your actual Spotify Wrapped. It wasn't like your favorite song ever. You remember what song it was, by the way? I don't know whose this was. Was that yours? Do you know what song it was playing? No, don't remember. Harry Styles, maybe. No? Right. DJ Kraken, perhaps? Give a big round of applause. Actually, I hear a little bit of talking. I want to make sure. Got a couple more to go here. Okay, so let's give a big round of applause for Emerson Parker.
Anthem for My Belly After Eating Too Much by Cara Jackson. I look in the mirror, and all the chips I've eaten this month have accumulated like schoolwork at the bottom of my tummy. My belly, a country I'm trying to love. My mouth is a lover devoted to you, my belly, my belly. The birds string a song together with wind for you and your army of solids, militia of Greece. Americans love excess, but we also love jeans, and I refuse to make excess comfortable in them. I step into a fashionable prison, my middle managed and fastened into suffering. My gracious gut, dutiful dome, I will wear a house for you that you can live in. Promise walls that embrace your growing flesh and watch you reach toward everything possible.
Once again, thank you, Emerson. How many people are staying for the second half of Poetry Aloud during third period? So, let me tell you, it's going to be exciting. We're going to be writing a Valentine's Day centric poem. We're going to do that, yes, next week. Next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. You're going to hear all of these people plus another recite their second poem. And if you thought their first poems were good, just wait. Those were the safety poems. Those were the easy ones. Next is going to be even more intense, more edgy, maybe even more sandwiches, more nicotine, maybe. I said that earlier. It makes sense. So second half, very exciting. And up next will be our last of the first round of Poetry Out Loud, our first set. Give a big round of applause for Katie Olson.
Under the Lemon Tree by Marcia De La O. Not rain, but fine mist falls from my lemon tree, a balm of droplets in green shadow. 6 years now, my mother, gone to earth. This dew, light as footsteps of the dead. She often walked out here, craned her neck, considered the fruit. Hundreds of globes in their leathery hides, figuring on custard and pudding, rang as holidays. But her plans didn't work out. The tree goes on unceasingly, lemons fall and fold into earth and begin again. Me, I come here as a salve against heat, come to languish, to let the soft bursts, essence of citrus summer's distillate drift into my face and settle. Water and gold brew in the quiet deeps at the far end of the season. Leaves swallow the body of light, and the breath of water brims over. My hands cup each other the way hers did.
I knew we had a competitor when I first saw Katie at Poetry Out Loud 2020, just a 7th grader at the time. I knew she'd be here someday. There's a football game coming up, right? Maybe? Yeah? Big one this weekend, this Sunday?
Oh,
see the Chiefs jersey?
Super Bowl. I thought he meant hour.
Well, I'm talking about pro sports. The Super Bowl, yes? You heard of it? We're at the end of the first half. Anybody want to give me their thoughts on the first half here? How are we feeling? First half thoughts? Anybody want to do a quick halftime interview? No? No? They don't have to be very good, because they usually aren't. Anybody? Wyatt? How you feeling, Wyatt?
A little bit rowdy.
A little bit rowdy. One poem at a time. That's all we got to do. One left to go. We're ready. Okay, defense. How do you play defense in poetry? Not really sure. So, with that being said, I think we all owe this group a huge round of applause for the first half. So, as I said, we get to see all of these folks one more time. Their second poems, even more intense. Jaws are going to drop. Emotions are going to be all over the place. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry, maybe. It's going to be a good day. So with that being said, Poetry Out Loud Part 1 is complete. You may take a break if you're sticking around. You can use the restroom. You can get water. We're going to have a little bit of a longer break for you, I suppose, here. So let's reconvene here with third period. Thank you very much for being a great audience.
I'm in my basement. I care about other people. I care about my comfort. My phone, I almost just left my phone here. I threw it on the seat and I almost just left my phone here.
guys are doing like just the straight Shakespeare though? Open-minded. Wow. That's right. They took right.
It slows down a day when I forget my glasses.
So those ones that were sitting here, I noticed they were in the lobbies. Yeah, they were really. What a voice. Needs to learn enunciate. Yeah, needs to learn to enunciate. That's a really rich sound you have there. Good word. And then the other boy, shorter guy, he was kind of funny. He's like Christopher Walken.
James T. Kirk.
Please, well, it wasn't that heavy, but I mean, it was like, no, you have color and texture in your poem, and you should.
I mean, I wish I felt that relaxed about like literally everything in my life. Yeah. So
relatable.
yeah. So I.
Is that a threat? Is that a threat? I know you talked to Mr. Minna. You just threatened me. Or I can move you to a different. Is that a threat? You're threatening me? Do you say thank you after you?
Thank you.
Be respectful for an hour and a half.
For one space and
Your house and put my feet in your furniture. I think about 3 minutes.
So don't forget for later. It's the same people again.
Well, yeah, they do their second round.
Sorry. I feel like I had a question for you. So, of course I'm up late last night, blah, blah, blah. But, not autocorrect, because I don't want that effect. A lot of people just use that as an effect these days.
Oh, auto-tune.
90s thing.
Oh, so it was a 90s thing. Like even Cher was a little.
Oh,
yeah. Like why? You don't need to do that.
No, I tweet it as a aesthetic, as a style. But anyway, so just pitch shifting, and I managed to make it sound not too robotic, but only the people that I tell like you right now will go. There's a certain character to her voice.
I know, I thought that too.
So
Everyone's like,
I think it'll be the you'll hear it and let me know.
It's like an old one. You're laughing because it's bad. It's such a bad Shut up!
Singles Appreciation Day. My people don't appreciate your reappropriation of February 14th. Oregon State's birthday. Celebrated taking up the land for me. Well, they try to, give a drink with a feed or whatever, but the second you walk away from it, there's like, right back.
So I just wanted to make one quick announcement. Remember that if you're a 10th grader, this is your event. You're free to be here. We are going to take attendance. If you're not a 10th grader and maybe your teacher brought you for second period, you do need to go to your third period class. You're expected to be there. So this is kind of a 10th grade event unless a teacher gives you the opportunity to come. So make sure that if you're not a 10th grader, you've got a teacher that brought you or said to come here, whatever the case may be.
The climactic moment. About 10 minutes before the end, 5 minutes. So she's going to leave, and the younger couple and the middle couple of them are like blockading her. It's called cacophony. Different vocal lines going at the same time. She goes up, she breaks through, she goes up the stairs and she grabs her suitcase. And then Dan finally turns around, goes up the stairs and grabs her suitcase and puts it down and then sings and does his thing. He goes up the stairs and grabs a suitcase and somebody in the audience went, finally! And 30 people around them went, ha 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 ha, at this like beautiful, quiet, still. And so Andrew did his thing. We just stood there for a few extra moments to like, she's up here, folks.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear what they said. I'm like, what? And the cast went, they said finally! And I'm like, oh God, you all heard it, so.
Oh, great. You're supposed to check with your third period before you come back to the third period. Go to the third period? No. Yeah, that's what Mr. Marsh was just saying. It's like you're not automatically excused. You need the permission from your third period teacher. And then yes, even if you're. Oh no, 10th period, you're fine. Yeah. That's it. Huh? You're supposed to go check with your third period.
I did.
Oh.
They're subbed though.
Then I think there's another little attendance QR code thing. Yeah, you can only poke so many times and pretty soon it becomes like a game, a challenge. And then you're gonna find your Tyrus slash. Find a horse head in your bed or something. I know. This is funny. Somebody get my feet on the seat. Be like me and just mention that removing his limbs could be an option. There are options. We've got feet in the dressing. You know where we get them? Teachers to come watch their kids. Making a thing about that. It's like always making that point. It's like,
or at least have them fill in here first.
yeah, well, I mentioned that to Mr. Marks the whole thing. I said, they always sit, on the edges and in the back, and they won't fill in, and there won't be enough seats. People don't like crawling over or scooting through, so they'll climb over seats.
Hey! Don't climb over the seats!
That is so uncool.
It's extremely disrespectful to our space. Don't climb over the seats.
It's so bad on the furniture. You break it, you'll probably never come in here again. You can. Only when forced. Yeah. Come in here and hear something about calm. Forecast. We have forecasting coming. If you can hear about that. I like about some of the more virtual type stuff. Just watch this video.
Yeah, why can't it just be a video? Why do you have to have an accessibility? Why does it have the same accessibility?
Because there's so many people. So if you have a video, 10% of the people will pay attention to it. Will actually watch it, pay attention to it. If you have an assembly, 20% of the people will pay attention. It's better.
I think that we should make a video for the assembly.
But they won't.
They won't. That's why won't they let? It's theater etiquette. It's not even being like.
Well, I don't really want them to. No, I don't like them coming in here to watch something because that's even more like go to sleep and put your feet up and put in your. If it's live and dynamic, there's a little less of that.
Our rules are pretty simple.
until we get their feet up.
Feet on the feet. You gotta be over there.
Food and drink.
Looks like we're all making our way in. So let's find a seat here. Welcome everybody. First of all, how many people were already here for second period, part one of Poetry Out Loud? Very nice. Let's give a big cheer. It was electric, certified electric. Now, we're going to see our final round and our results for Poetry Out Loud 2023. How many people are going on to the next level? Does anybody remember? Two. Not one. 2 people are going to move on. If you could all please join me in welcoming your 2023 Poetry Out Loud contestants. Give it up for 2023. So, these 15 people that you see in front of me have already each performed one poem. They are now about to perform their second and final poem. Eventually, when they move on to state, if the people that get to move on, how many poems do they have to memorize? 3 poems. It ramps up every single time. So, how many of you have memorized a poem? This is going to be a review for some of you. Okay, so you know how it is. We want to make sure that we're creating a fun environment when it's time to be fun and cheer on people, but we also want to be really respectful and we want to give them the best possible opportunity to be successful today. So that means paying attention, not being on your phone. It's better when they're looking ahead at the audience and seeing your faces and seeing that you're listening. And also, you want to avoid having those conversations because you can hear me really well, but I can also hear you well also. So make sure that you recognize that. There will be times where we get to use our phones. We're actually going to write a poem today that might even get published. So that's very exciting. We're also going to have an intermission. So there will be times for you to take stretch breaks and check your phones if you need to. But while this program is going, it's really important that you are paying attention here. And also, we want to be very respectful to this space. We are so lucky to have a space like this to use for an event like this. This is the first time in 3 years that we've gotten to do this, and it's been awesome so far. And so I want everybody to give John Ayers and Miss Kaiser as well a big round of applause. And Kaiser for allowing us to use our space here. So what respect means to this space is not putting your feet up on the chairs, not climbing over armrests or anything like that. We want to be stewards of this space, so let's keep that in mind as well. So I want to actually start with our attendance prompt. So one thing I want you to keep in mind is that I want you to indicate your name, your grade level. These are expected responses. Did you come with a class, or did you stay as a 10th grader? Did you kind of come directly on your own? So that's a question that I'm going to ask you to also answer. We already got kind of an overview of our Kaleidoscope literary magazine that comes out at the end of the school year. This is an opportunity, actually, for you to perhaps get published, or maybe even think about maybe down the line later on, you might want to write something or create something. It's not just poetry, it's not just writing, that could be published as a part of this magazine. Kate, do you want to just give like a quick explanation about this, just about Kaleidoscope? One just quick, or you do the quick version. So Peyton's actually pulling double duty here. She's representing Kaleidoscope and being a contestant here. So you just want to give us just a quick overview.
So the Kaleidoscope is a collection of work made by students for students. It ranges from photography to creative writing to other types of writing and artwork. And it's very easy to submit. You can just go to the WLHS Now website and go to the Kaleidoscope, and all the directions to submit are on there. It's just through a Google form. It's a great way to get your work out there, and it's a great way to see other people's work. Yeah.
Thank you, Peyton. So I've already had students ask, how do I get published? How can I submit something? So that's the way to do it, WLHS Now. So next, I'm going to have the attendance prompt. There is a QR code for this. This is a Google form. We're going to get in our feelings a little bit here. It's almost Valentine's Day. We're going to write an ode. An ode, for those of you that don't know, is a formal, often ceremonious lyric poem that addresses and celebrates not just a person. It could be a place, it could be a thing, an idea. So there's some steps up here. First, pick a subject. Is it going to be a person? Is it going to be a place? Is it going to be a thing? An activity? Something that you like to do? Consider some of the physical characteristics about your subject. What does it look like? How does it make you feel? What would life be like without this thing? Weave ideas together, putting it together at the end, weaving ideas together to make it sound less formulaic, less like this formula up here. And you get to check whether or not you want to have this considered for poetry, or excuse me, for Kaleidoscope Literary Magazine. Is the QR code working? It is. You gotta zoom in on your camera if you can. It might be a little harder from the back. I did try these. And you have to be logged in with your school account. Oh, sorry. So it should be your third period, teacher. I apologize for that. You caught me copying and pasting, Mr. Mena. So pick a thing. write about your thing. It could be a person. It could be an emotion. You having trouble with that?
Yeah. I always been out about that.
So take a moment with this. Of course, we recognize that you're doing this quickly. And that it might just be kind of a draft at this point. But hey, maybe it gets published. Maybe it's great. And I might read some of these throughout the program as well. Okay, so when I see phones being put away, just take a few more moments on this. Okay, let's get a show of thumbs. How many people think they wrote an awesome ode, a medium ode, or like, maybe not my best work? Awesome, medium, not great, not super proud. Submitting anyway. Maybe don't use this one. Okay. So like I said, once phones go away, we will have an intermission. So there will be a chance to stretch out, take a break. Okay, so I think we're ready to move forward. And I just want to do a quick, we have 3 judges here. We have an accuracy checker. We have actually multiple mathematicians here as well. So our first judge is former English teacher, moving up in the world, current vice principal, Ms. Carmacher. Give Ms. Carmacher a big round of applause. Second judge, friend of the program, major knower of poetry events, and that is Mr. Lothamer. Give Mr. Lothamer a big round of applause. And look at, doesn't he look like a poetry judge right now? Our third and final judge is DJ Kraken, 2 N's. Look him up on SoundCloud. This is Mr. Craig. Give Mr. Craig a big round of applause. English adjacent, maybe? English teacher adjacent now, probably. And our accuracy scorer, the beacon of integrity. This is Miss Crandall. Give Miss Crandall a big round of applause. And I think we've grown to 2, maybe even 3 this winter. Are you going to help with the math of this? Oh. It might take 3 English teachers to do this math, okay? This is, I'm not being offensive because I'm one too. Okay, so our tabulators, our mathematicians are Miss Watson and Miss Colta and maybe Miss Winter. Give them a big round of applause. Okay. You're writing your ode still. Is anybody else still writing their ode? Okay. Judge is writing his ode. So should I look for that? It's going to be hard to find. So, are you all ready for the second part of Poetry Out Loud 2023? Give a big round of applause. All right. Okay, to perform their second and final poem is Eli Schusler.
What women are made of by Bianca Lynn Spriggs. There are many kinds of open, Audre Lorde. We are all ventricle, spine, lung, larynx and gut, clavicle and nape, what lies forked in an open palm. We are follicle and temple. We are ankle, arch, sole, pore and rib, pelvis and root and tongue. We are wishbone and gland and molar and lobe. We are hippocampus and exposed nerve and cornea. Areola, pigment, melanin and nails, varicose, cellulite, divining rods, sinew and tissue, saliva and silt. We are blood and salt and clay and aquifer. We are breath and flame and stratosphere, nightlight, satellite and stubble. We are pinnacle, plummet, dark circles and dark matter, a constellation of freckles and specters and miracles, both bent and erect. We are all give and give back. We are volta and girder. Make an incision in our nectary, and painted ladies sail forth, riding the back of a warm wind, plumed with love and things like love. Crack us down to the marrow, and you may find us full of cicada husks and sand dollars and salted maple taffy, wary of welding together our daydreams. All sweet tea, razor blades, carbon and salted and carbon and patchwork quilts of good God and Lord have mercy, our hands remember how to turn the earth before we do, our intestinal fortitude. Cumulonimbus streaked with saffron light. Our foundation, not in our limbs or hips. This comes first as an amen, a hallelujah, a suckling swaddled psalm sung at the cosmos' breast. You want to know what women are made of. Open wide and find out.
Wow. Eli, how you feeling? You're done with both poems, how you feeling? Pretty good. A little nervous. We're gonna hear results later. So we're gonna share a little bit of information as we go forward about some of our contestants in between poems, but it looks like our judges. Wow. Efficiency. Up next, please give a warm welcome, not welcome, her second poem, Elise Michael.
The last full moon of February stalks the fields. Barbed wire casts a shadow, rising slowly, a being moved toward the west, stealthily changing position. Until now, in the small hours across the snow, it advances on my pillow to wake me. Not rudely like the sun, but with the cocked gun of silence. I am alone in a vast room where a vain woman once slept. The moon, in pale buckskins, crouches on guard beside her bed. Slowly, the light wanes, the snow will melt, and all the fences thrum in the spring breeze. But not until that sleeper trapped in my body turns and turns.
Everybody, we have a new player entering the arena. Let's give Emily Musica a round of applause. Talk to Emily real quick there. Okay. All set. I think our judges are ready. Okay. Presenting his second poem, please give it up for Pedro Garcia.
Always Something More Beautiful by Stephen Dunn. This time, I came to the starting place with my best running shoes, and a pure speed held back from the finish came with only a love of the clock and the underfooting and the other runners. Each of us will be testing excellence and endurance in the other, though in the past. I often veer off to some feral distraction down a side path, allowing myself to pursue something odd and beautiful, becoming acquainted with only a few ways of not to blame myself for failing to succeed. I have come to believe what's beautiful had more to do with daring to take yourself seriously, to stay the course, whatever that course might be. The person in front seemed ready to fade, his long, graceful stride shortening. As I came up along his side, I was sure now I'd at least exceeded my best time. But the man with the famous final kick already begun his move. Beautiful, I heard a spectator say, as if something inevitable about to come from nowhere was again on its way. Always Something More Beautiful by Stephen Dunn.
So keep in mind, as an audience member, I know we're really excited, especially to see some of our close friends up here performing, and we want them to really do well. But let's keep in mind that we need to make sure that they can focus and that they can have the attention that they need on their next line. So try to keep all that noise and applause until after they're done. We can give an electric round of applause after these people are done with their poem, so keep that in mind. Slight change of order here. We have a new player entering the arena here. I like that line, by the way. Okay, so up next, if our judges are ready for this, Morgan Farnand.
Since There Is No Escape by Sarah Teasdale. Since there is no escape, since at the end, my body will be utterly destroyed. This hand I loved as I have loved a friend. This body I tended, wept with, and enjoyed. Since there is no escape, even for me, who love life with a love too sharp to bear, the scent of orchards in the rain, the sea, and hours alone too still and sure for prayer. Since darkness waits for me, then all the more, let me go down as waves sweep the shore, in pride, and let me sing with my last breath. And in these few hours of light, I lift my head. Life is my lover. I shall leave the dead. If there is any way to baffle death.
Excellent job, Morgan. So as our judges are getting our tabulations, we're going to do a slight change of order. So this is for Miss Crandall. We're going to put In Flanders Fields is going to be up here for you. keep those phones silent. We'll have an intermission, don't worry. We'll be there. Keeping phones silent, making sure we're quiet. I want to see the blue glowing in your eyes. Okay, are we ready? Up next is Emily Musica.
Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row. And in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies blow in Flanders Fields.
Not easy to show up halfway through the event and beautifully perform a poem like that. Great job, Emily. So, Lane kind of brought up before and made sure that we were aware of this. I want everybody to give a round of applause for our ASL interpreters here. Applause all around. So judges, we're going to get back to our previously disclosed order. It's going to be a person who's had a sibling. We have two people whose siblings have also performed in Poetry Out Loud previously. So up next is Rowan Secrist.
First Vote by Camilla Aisha-Moon. It was hers. She had this choice. Behind curtain bliss. Dad's chest full on the other side as her tapered hand pulled the lever. No matter how wide the final margin, a lone ballot never counted so much.
Thank you very much, Rowan Secrist. Got it. So I had students write about some fun memories that they had from their English class. Figured some of their other fellow peers would be here. My funniest memory from my English class was when everybody was silent and Miss Winter turned on what she claimed was the worst version of Silent Night. Of course, Miss Winter remembers this. The sound quality was terrible, and then a screechy baritone voice sounded over her speakers with more cracks than an old sidewalk, and the class collectively died of laughter. Wow. Got some metaphors there. Cracks in the sidewalk. Right. Let's once again welcome Maggie McKenzie.
How to Triumph Like a Girl by Ada Lamone. I like the lady horses best. The way they make it all look easy. Like, running 40 miles per hour is as fun as taking a nap or grass. I like their lady horse swagger when they win. Ears up, girls, ears up. But mainly, let's be honest, I like that they're ladies. As if this big, dangerous animal is also a part of me. That somewhere in the delicate skin of my body there pumps this 8-pound female horse heart, huge with power, heavy with blood. Don't you want to believe it? Don't you want to lift my shirt and see this huge, beating genius machine that thinks, no, it knows. It's going to win.
Excellent, Maggie. So I've got in my hands some of your odes that you wrote. Penguin a bird, cold but got floof and fat, cute and can't fly, it flops around in the cold. Does a penguin want to fly? These cute little buggers ditch children. These resilient things survive being ditched. Dad penguin has to get some milk. Cold little penguin, brave little penguin, can he swim? Shall he swim? Yes, he shall swim. Little body, big head, jumping in icy water. Petite body, big splash, loud noise. Many little penguins jump in, some lucky, some not. Some have people waiting. Big old leopards hovering with their mouths open, hungrily staring, waiting for their feet. Little old penguins survive all this, but I still don't like to talk to people. That's our ode to penguins. Let's give that was a pretty good one. Let's give that a round of applause. What do you think? Is that K-scope worthy? K-scope worthy, do you think? Do you think that poem's kaleidoscope worthy? Oh, absolutely. Is that a good page? All right. All right. For the second time, please welcome Claire Johnson.
The Art Room by Shar McCallum. For my sisters, because we did not have threads of turquoise, silver, and gold, we could not sew the sun nor sky. And our hands became balls of fire, and our arms spread open like wings. Because we had no chalk or pastels, no toad, forest, or morning grass slats of paper, we had no color for creatures. So, we squatted and sprang, 4 young girls, plates heavy on our backs. Our feet were beating drums, drawing rhythms from the floor. Our mouths became woodwinds. Our tongues touched teeth and were reeds.
Ode to Taylor Swift. I knew this was coming. She is so blonde, so slay. She's singing, yes, yes. Life wouldn't be the same without Tay-Tay. Next, Hayden Rector.
Four Glimpses of Night by Frank Marshall Davis. 1. Eagerly, like a woman, hurrying to her lover, night comes to the room of the world and lies, yielding in content against the cool, round face of the moon. 2. Night is a curious child, wandering between earth and sky, creeping in windows and doors, daubing the entire neighborhood with purple paint. Day is an apologetic mother, cloth in hand, following after. 3. Peddling from door to door, night sells black bags of peppermint stars, heaping cones of vanilla moon until his wares are gone, then shuffles homeward, jingling the gray coins of daybreak. 4. Night's brittle song, silver thin, shatters into a billion fragments of quiet shadows at the blaring jazz of a morning sun.
very good. Oh, it's here. I miss the innocence of being a child. I miss having the darkness of the world hidden. I miss feeling like anything was possible. I miss believing in things like Santa or leprechauns. I miss myself, but not who I am now, who I was when I was happy. Good though. Not all sunshine and roses. Love is a fragile thing, is it not? A way for people to sigh happily and to smile brightly. Love is a thing full of brightness, a well of tranquil beauty. Love is a strong thing, is it not? For the final time, please give a warm applause to Hanson Barrett.
Art versus Trade by James Weldon Johnson. Trade. Trade versus art. Brain. Brain versus heart. Oh, the earthiness of these hard-hearted times when clinking dollars and jingling dimes drown all the finer music of the soul. Life as an octopus with but this creed, that all the world was made to serve his greed. Trade has spread out his mighty and weird claw and drawn into his foul-polluted maw the brightest and the best. Well nigh has he drained dry the sacred fount of truth, and if, forsooth, he's let yet some struggling streams from it to go, he's contaminated, so the flow, the truth, scarce is it true. Poor art, with struggling gasp, lies dying, strangled in his mighty grasp. He locks his grimy fingers about his snowy throat so tender. Is there no power to rescue, protect, defend her? Shall art be left to perish? Shall the imagers, her shrines cherish, be left this iconoclast to vulgar trade? Oh, that mankind had less of brain, more of heart. Oh, that the world had less of trade, more of art. Then would there be less grinding down the poor. Then would men learn to love each other more. For trade stalks like a giant through the lands, bearing aloft the rich in his high hand, while down beneath his mighty ponderous tread, he crushes those who cry for daily bread.
Lord Hanson. Okay, so here is about to be, in just a moment, a very short 5-minute intermission. Now, when we come back, and let me first say, this is not a let's leave the building intermission. This is a 5-minute intermission. So this is more of a stretch in your seat, stand up, move around a little bit, get a chance to talk to your neighbors, check your phones if you need to, but it's not going to be a very lengthy stay here. So we're doing 5 minutes. We're going to come back at 10:57. There will be a check-in for attendance after this as well. So you've got 5 minutes. 10:57 is our target time to come back.
I really like that last one.
That was great. I had it over my head like this. I'm very disrespectful.
Like, you had all the time.
So I just went down there and I said, like, I thought and chairs are like those big ones that go up and
Because for some people who like their parents are just like, oh, you don't need to go to yahoos. The other night after the thing about climate change and all that, some you don't have like stop and turn. You didn't have me like in the auditorium.
And I'm someone who never takes photos.
Yeah.
So we're at like math grade, like, how do you get a photo? And I'm like, yeah.
No. None of me. Yeah, I was just like, there's nobody on stage. The screen is blank, and you're making sure you're getting a picture of you, like.
You don't know what's on those seats. What are you gonna, if you put their feet up there, what are you gonna drag hold of?
All right, we're about to get started with our final stretch of Poetry Out Loud 2023. So let's make our way to our seats. Same rules apply. Make sure you're not climbing over arm rails or armrests. Make sure you're not putting your feet up on the backs of the seats. Let's respect the house here. So we're going to do one really quick attendance check, and this is going to be a quick one. You're not writing a poem. Gracie, go to the next slide. So whether it happened this year or in a past year, what was your reaction to the moment when your teacher announced that your class was doing poetry out loud? What was the takeaway from this experience for you? What did you learn about poetry, public speaking, yourself? If you never had the opportunity to do poetry out loud, well, here is your opportunity to watch it. So describe how this activity is different than typical poetry activities. So this is your post-intermission attendance. We've all dialed in our cameras and QR codes at this point. This is our final attendance question that we're doing for the day. So if you've been here the whole time, this is your fourth and final. Maybe someday you all will have QR codes that you can walk around with and scan you into class. Wouldn't that be great?
We can track you around.
Mr. Craig says tattooed on your forehead. Yep. You went there.
Yeah.
So like I said, I do like to read some of these sometimes. If we get some, I'm sure we'll get some fun and interesting, thoughtful responses.
Where you are on campus. Is that, yeah, well, like chipping.
They can't track you just a QR code. They gotta chip you.
No, but yeah, you need a chip.
Maggie, how does it feel to be done? You've got 2 poems completed. You competed in Poetry Out Loud. It's not completely over, but how does it feel? Give it a thumbs up. Feels good. Post-game interview right there. Big football game coming up. Not West Linn, but another game. So once you get your phones put down, put away, we will finish with our final stretch. Before we move forward, I want everybody to, a lot of English teachers are here, a lot of the people that have stewarded you through this program or through other very exceptional educational opportunities. Let's give a big round of applause for all the teachers that are here in the house. I'm looking at about 7 of them in here. All right. See a couple people with phones up. This is the last one. Should finish with plenty of time. Are you ready? Are you anticipating finding out who's going to move forward potentially to state or national Poetry Out Loud contests? Yeah, let's go. So, I think we're ready. I think we can get back to our slide. If anybody has any issues with attendance, please come see me afterwards. I can help you with that and make sure nothing goes wrong for you. But with that being said, I think we're ready to continue. Are you all ready? Yes. Okay. So for the second, and remember as an audience, let's keep our listening hats on here. We're paying attention. We want them to do as well as they can. And in order to do that, we need to be quiet. We need to be watching. We want to be attentive. I know when they're looking out at the audience, they're certainly appreciating the fact that people are listening and watching and being attentive. Okay, so for the second final time, please give a warm round of applause for Ashley Dusick.
Hanging Fire by Audre Lorde. I am 14 and my skin has betrayed me. The boy I cannot live without still sucks his thumb in secret. How come my knees are always so ashy? What if I die before morning and Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed? I have to learn how to dance in time for the next party. My room is too small for me. Suppose I die before graduation. I will sing sad melodies, but finally tell the truth about me. There is nothing I want to do, but too much that has to be done. And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. No one even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on math team. My marks were better than his. Why do I have to be the one wearing braces? I have nothing to wear tomorrow. Will I live long enough to grow up? And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed.
That was awesome, Ashley. So I know everybody was so excited to applaud that because Ashley was doing such a great job. You gotta hold off just for a moment. Sometimes those dramatic pauses are meant to let the language sink into our minds. So great job, Ashley, for working through. Speaking of moms, my mom is beautiful, hardworking, and kind. My mom makes me happy constantly every day. My life would be incomplete without her. I love my mom. There's some parents in the house right now. Parents of especially some of these contestants here. Let's give a round of applause for the parents that supported Poetry Out Loud. A lot of you have done this, and a lot of you your parents probably listen to your poems over and over again, and you practice in front of them, so they're a big, important part of this as well. Looks like our judges are ready. We're ready. Up next is Emma Huberty.
We Wear the Mask by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. Instead, we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but, oh the clay is vile beneath our feet, and long the mile.
But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask.
Excellent work, Emma. What a relatable poem. We wear the mask. So I wanted to also make a pitch. In future years, we would like to incorporate more than just 10th grade as a part of Poetry Out Loud. We certainly want this to continue to be a school-wide event, and 10th graders, it tends to work for us that way to get more and more people into it. But if you're somebody who is currently a 10th grader or maybe an 11th grader that thinks this looks really cool and thinks that maybe you could be the person who goes to state and maybe moves forward, then we want to make sure that we're giving that opportunity to students. So keep an eye out, usually around the end of the semester, or towards the end of the semester, first semester is when we tend to do that. So I think that that's going to be something we're going to be building in as well. And we just have a couple more performances left. The energy is palpable. I can tell. There's a hushed silence in the crowd. We ready? All right, up next is Wyatt Foster.
Ways of Talking by Hajim. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. And then we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, love's lost, home's gone, marriage is broken, friends estranged, ambitions borne away by immediate needs. Words lined up in our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only infinite flow of life. But after losing a land and giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful, even hailstones in the strawberry fields.
How chivalrous for Wyatt to move the microphone stand down. Thank you very much, Wyatt. Ode to D102. What room is that? D102. Oh. Is this yours? Oh. I noticed you shed your Macintosh computers. I still love you, even with your Dell Fit. Your BizHub gives life to student voice. Your rolling chairs spark childlike joy. As the vinyl turns hot beats you inspire. Truth. You empower designers to kern unapologetically. And you know, I didn't know what the word kern meant until I met Mr. Craig. I think a lot of us can probably say the same thing. Space between letters, by the way. Mr. Craig, excellent poem. Okay. Up next, for the final time, Linn Donaldson Swigart.
Hi. So, Fairy Tale Logic by A.E. Stalin, I think. Fairy tales are full of impossible tasks. You have to gather the chin hair of a man-eating goat. You have to cross a superb lake in a leaky boat. You have to select the prince in a row of identical masks to tow up to a dragon where it basks and snatch its bones. You have to count the dust specks mote by mote, learn the phone directory by rote. Always it's impossible what someone asks. You have to fight magic with magic. You have to believe that you have something impossible up your sleeve. The language of snakes, perhaps an invisible cloak, an army of ants at your beck, or a lethal joke. The will to do whatever must be done. Marry a monster, hand over your firstborn son.
Great job, Lane. Always a showman. Love it. How many of you feel a sense of motivation, like maybe you could too stand on a stage and recite a poem someday? How many people feel like you could do that? A couple of you are raising your hands. I had a couple people outside say, hey, Mr. Marsh, can I get 30 seconds up there? Can I just get, just a real quick little couple of bars in? Hey, if you want to do that, you've got those opportunities. Like I said, next year, Poetry Out Loud, it'll be back. Same time, probably same place. So keep that in mind. We have just 3 recitations left. I'd say Emily's kind of pulling double duty. 2 poems, 1 class period. Very nice. Checking our judges. All right. Up next, Emerson Parker.
This is Siren Song by Margaret Atwood. This is the song everyone would like to learn. The song that is irresistible. The song that forces men to leap overboard in squadrons, even though they see the beach skulls. The song nobody knows because anyone who has heard it is dead, and the others can't remember. Shall I tell you the secret? And if I do, will you get me out of this bird suit? I don't enjoy it here, squatting on this island, looking picturesque and mythical. With these 2 feathery maniacs, I don't enjoy singing this trio, fatal and valuable. I will tell the secret to you and only to you. Come closer. This song is a cry for help. Help me. Only you can. You are unique. At last. Alas, it is a boring song, but it works every time.
Emerson. So, I think I said this before, the last in-person Poetry Out Loud state contest, March 7th, 2020. Some unfortunate events happened after that. We don't need to talk about it. But I'm confident, and I feel good about saying that one of the last real in-person events that I went to for 2 years was the Poetry Out Loud state contest in Salem. So I was able to live happily and satisfied through quarantine as a result of that. Katie was there as well, along with to support her sister Anna. And that was it. And now this year, it's back. 3 years, 3-year hiatus. We're excited. And I think we're probably going to be sending some people there as well. We're ready. So up next, the person I just previously mentioned, Katie Olson.
It seems like you could, but you can't, go back and pull the roots and runners and replant. It's all too deep for that. You've overprized intention, have mistaken any venture given for control. You thought you chose the bean and chose the soil. You even thought you abandoned 1 or 2 gardens. But those things keep growing where we put them, if we put them at all. A certain kind of Eden holds us thrall. Even the one vine that tendrils out alone in time turns on its own impulse, twisting back down its upward course, a strong and then a stronger rope. The greenest, saddest, strongest kind of hope.
Last class memory. So this is a class memory from their English class. At the beginning of the year, we would have something called Circle Fridays, where every Friday we would sit in a circle as a class and discuss random topics. I remember our very first Friday. Our teacher, Miss Tyre, I believe it's Miss Tyre, she's out right now. Anybody have Miss Tyre? Any of your students in here? No? Okay. Oh, there we go. Come on, give it up. Give a round of applause for Miss Tyre. You miss her upstairs. We asked tree or cave. There was no context, no guidance, and we just went around the circle choosing one. It eventually went into a full debate over which one would make a better housing environment, and to this day I can guarantee that our whole class would still rant for an entire period over trees or caves. Is this true? Tree or cave? Tree. The tree, you've got to like do stuff with that tree. It's not gonna house you immediately. You got to be there's some ingenuity involved in that. Cave is already set. Just build a fire.
Caves are dark, no ventilation.
Right.
And bats. And more.
So in a moment, we're going to get to our final contestant for today. Our final contestant. And you're going to be holding up, waiting to see the results of your 2023 Poetry Out Loud contest. Are you excited to hear the results? Who's moving on? All right. So we're going to be announcing our top 3, and remember our top 2 will be able to go to a regional. They're going to be creating a video of one of their poems, and then a judging panel is going to decide who gets to move forward. I think we've got a good bet to move forward in that. So that's how it's going to look. You're going to hold tight after as well. So for the final time, please give a warm round of applause for Emily Musica.
Silence by Thomas Hood. There is a silence where have been no sound. There is a silence where no sound may be. In a cold grave, under the deep, deep sea, or in a wide desert where no life is found, which hath been mute and still must sleep profound. No voice is hushed, no life treads silently, but clouds and cloudy shadows wander free, that never spoke over the idle ground. But in the green ruins, in the desolate walls, of antique places where men have been, though a dune fox or wild hyena calls, owls that flit continually between screech through the echo, and the low wind moans. There, the true silence is self-conscious and alone.
Poetry Out Loud contestants, can you all stand up? Let's give them all a big round of applause. This is awesome. This time in 3 years. All right, so we're going to take just a brief moment. This is not a break, this is not an intermission. We're going to stay in our seats. We're just going to take a moment to get our score tabulations correct and make sure that we've got accurate results in counting. You guys can sit down if you want. You guys can sit down. So we'll just take just a couple minutes here, get our tabulated scores, and we're going to find out the exciting conclusion of Poetry Out Loud 2023. Let's give it up for John Ayers, always the comedian, the music player back here. So I know that it looked fast. I know that it looked like we came up with our results quickly, like there was a pretty obvious set of winners here, but this was very, very tough. Judges said that there could have been 6 or 7 of you that moved forward, and I don't say that just to say it, and I've not said that before at Poetry Out Loud, and I think that it certainly was true this year as well. So you should all be extremely proud of yourselves with where you are and how you performed today. Excellent work. But now, let's get to the results. So how many people are we sending forward? 2. We're going to announce 3. So we're going to announce our second runner-up, our first runner-up, and our champion of 2023 Poetry Out Loud. Are we ready? Yes. In your minds, do you know who it's going to be? Are you already like, no, I know. I just know it. So we'll find out. We'll see. Let's go. So, second runner-up. Second runner-up. Poetry Out Loud 2023 is Katie Olson. Good job, Katie. Right. On to our first runner-up. And this is somebody that will be moving on to the regional and submitting a video poem to see if they can go to state. I feel pretty good about this one. First runner-up, Poetry Out Loud 2023, Rowan Seacrest. And now, Poetry Out Loud 2023 champion. Who's it going to be? Has your champion been chosen already? You know who it's going to be? Your Poetry Out Loud 2023 champion is Ashley Dusek. Let's have all the top 3 stand up right now and get a big round of applause. All of our top, just the top 3 for right now. Round of applause. Let's give it up for our top 3 here. Great job, you 3. So, in closing, a lot of you recited poems, and everybody else has had a chance to be thanked. And I think we should go ahead and thank you for being here, for being a part of Poetry Out Loud. At some point, let's give ourselves a round of applause. Thank you all. You are an exceptional audience. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next year.
English teachers probably didn't have to talk about that. I know you guys don't have to talk about that for your life. Make sure it's appropriate for you to do.
You don't get to appropriate. There wasn't really anything else in it except that
It was just the Ashley News Radio.
It's not as bad. Should have been me. Very dramatic. Not supposed to be that dramatic. I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck here. How can I play the
Emerson like comedy.
Very
I mean, yeah. I can hit it right over and stuff. I must go talk to Linn. I must know. Start on the ground.
Right here, 1, 2, 3.